What's up, true believers? Chris Mack coming at you with the Marvel's Age of Apocalypse Sugarman Build-A-Figure Wave X-Man, or as we know him, Nate Grey, which is the alternate version of Cable. Let's just say what it is. And of course, you get the Sugarman Build-A-Figure Wave pieces there, which I think this looks really great. Again, you get that spot varnish Age of Apocalypse there. You see that it says Build-A-Figure Man. I somehow keep doing that. Build-A-Figure Sugarman. And if you guys want to get this figure right now on Big Bad Toy Store and DMW All Things Marvels, they are taking them as pre-order, or hopefully you guys will get lucky. I found these at my local Walmart and I was just like, oh yeah, baby. So I bought the whole wave. I couldn't help myself, plus a couple other figures, which I'm hoping to do a review of here in the near future. You come around to the side. This is actually a really cool rendition of Nate. I can't complain about that. I think that looks great. I think that looming Apocalypse is also a great addition, especially since I think they're supposed to release another Apocalypse. Come around here to the back, you get a really cool product shot of Nate. Get the read up and the figures you need, so I'll make sure to leave it where you guys can pause it and look at both of those. Come around here to the side, again, same really cool artwork. Come around here to this side, you get that cool window. You go to the bottom, legal stuff, no one cares. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the X-Man out of his box and get a closer look at Nate Grey. And here is Nate Grey, the X-Man, out of his packaging. And I have to say, guys, this is a figure I was not expecting that I would really want. Because when I was a kid, X-Men wasn't really my thing. When I read X-Men, I wanted to be X-Men, not just the X-Man. But as the years go and you get more mature and you kind of start to see that this was a really cool concept that Jeph Loeb came up with. And we'll get more into that in just a moment. But I just wanted to put him up here on the spinner and just show how cool Nate is, especially when you throw in, like, I know his eyeball is orange, like I said, we'll get into that in a moment. But you throw in some power effects, like these are from the Marvel Legends Storm, and it looks really cool, especially when you throw some orange lighting on there. You cannot go wrong, guys. This is definitely a figure that I'm glad I picked up, because I saw it, because I initially did not want to get the whole line. But now that I've kind of been going through and reviewing all these guys, I love every single one of them. Yes, they have their pros and cons, just like every figure that I ever say. But Nate here is really cool. So let's go ahead and get him off the spinner and get a closer look at this X-Man. Backstory on Nate here. He is the Earth 295 equivalent of Cable. His first appearance is X-Man #1. And here's kind of a fancy little thing here. So the original Cable was the biological child of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. If you're not sure about that, go check out the original Chris Claremont comics. However, in this universe, Nate is a genetic result of, Mr. Sinister doing eugenics with DNA from Jean Grey and Cyclops. So yeah, it's a real trip. But check this out. As we all know, Cable is infected with the legacy virus. And he has to use a majority of his power to keep it at bay. Because if not, then that's why all the metal in his arm and his face go absolutely nuts. But in this universe, this Nate never got the legacy virus. So that's why he is so flipping powerful. Now, I think in the Age of Apocalypse was kind of a way that it was sort of a plot device to introduce this character, because at the end in X-Men Omega, he's fighting against Holocaust and stabs him with a part of the Unknowingly crystal, which is kind of one of the big culprits of this. This thing was kind of the whole thing of wanting to bring Earth back to what it was, which I said I will go back over all the Age of Apocalypse comics again in the near future. But anyway, in stabbing Holocaust with the Unknowingly crystal, him and Holocaust and Sugarman are zapped into the 616 universe, along with Dark Beast. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory of Nate Grey, the X-Men, in a nutshell. With all that said, let's go ahead and get a look at his paint apps, and I think he looks awesome. He is just almost 100% comic accurate. Now, the one thing that was kind of weird for me, but I think is a welcomed addition, is, let me get a good focus on him here, is his eye here. It's hard to see under the lights, but it starts out kind of yellow and then goes into orange, which I think looks nice, but I remember from all the early comics, all his power effects were yellow. But I think as you can see the yellow on his coat here, I think if they would have just done that on the eye, that probably just would have been very offsetting. I like the white around the hair there. I like the brown. And then I like that they didn't really give him an iris. They just gave him a white eye, which I think looks really nice. Love the coat, very 90s and very much his scheme from the books. And then of course from that time period, everyone had to have a kind of a utility belt look, had to have pockets and belts and buckles. Man, I miss the 90s for that. And then I love all these ripples in the coats, and I like that you can actually kind of pull this back. That's always a welcome addition. Love all the zippers, just kind of like how Havoc's coat was. Love the ripples here over the coat that kind of lead into the back. Love the stripes. And again, as you can see, I just love how they made the plastic look like actual, leather or cloth, whatever Nate's was. The yellow looks good. I think the only two dings on mine is there's a yellow paint smudge there, and there's a bit of a smudge there on his kneecap, but it is what it is. But yeah, the paint apps overall, just absolutely good work. I mean, you'd think that'd be too much blue, but that's how he was in the comics, and that yellow just really helps offset it. So yeah, great paint apps overall. And I wish he had some accessories. That's one thing from this Age of Apocalypse line that's killing me, is no accessories, man! But at least they kind of give you this, woohoo, which I kind of wish you could pop on and off so it's not constantly on there. But it is what it is. You just have to kind of roll with it. Now for the articulation, with that out of the way, is his head can look down that much and that much, because he has that cool new, it looks weird when you actually look at it, but it allows for some really extra roar, as you can see. That's creepy, like something out of a video game that's glitched. But yeah, you can kind of adjust it, and it really adds for some extra there, and a lot of swiveling there, that way. So I like that neck articulation. That's great work right there. Now for the ab crunch, you can get him down pretty good, but remember to kind of pull his coat out a little bit. It helps, because if not, it sort of stops on the belt. So pull that out, and you get really good downward crunch. Upward crunch is great because, he's going to be flying a lot, so good stuff there. Torso, good stuff. And you get a little bit of play, like, a little bit of Macarena style going on there. Arms can go out that much, and then if you twist the joint out that much, that high, let me give you guys a focus. I'm doing this all willy-nilly blurry style. Sorry about that. And then, of course, double jointed elbows. Yeah, double joint. I had to make sure about that. Then he has the upper arm, the bicep swivel there. Good stuff. Wrists, 360. And see, I wish they would have given him 2 fists and 2 open, but whatever. Now in this one, because the way it's kind of jammed into his coat, you have to kind of be careful. There's only so much you can bend it up and down on both hands. As you can see, you have to be real careful, especially when I make like a power fist there. You have to be ever so gentle because you don't want to bust that joint. So be careful there on the wrists. Now for the legs, that far out, that far forward, and about that far back. Not too bad. And then thankfully, double jointed knees, upper thigh cut, boot cut. Feet can go up that much down, and then of course you get a little bit of ankle pivot on them. So good stuff overall on the articulation. Really well articulated character. I love that neck thing where you can just really get that look for some good dynamic poses. So yeah, unlike some of the other legend figures that we've gone over in the past, I like that Nate is super bendy. It's good stuff. So here's Nate next to the other figures that we've already reviewed from this line. Here's Morph, Nate's genetic mother, Jean Grey, Weapon X, I keep wanting to say Wolverine, but that's not what his name is in this universe, and then Sunfire. Now, with these figures that I've gone over, I knew when this wave dropped that I wanted Sunfire. I still absolutely love this figure 100%. But the rest of these, I didn't know. I looked at them and I kind of went, they look kind of generic. but when you get them out of the packaging and start looking at them up close, you immediately fall in love with them. I especially fell in love with this Weapon X because it's like, I have so many of them. But yeah, great figure there. Same with Nate. You know, again, as I've already reiterated, I didn't like him when they first introduced him, but through the years, I really appreciate this character, and he's always a welcome sight. Now, with that said, there's one thing that I will kind of ward you guys to not read, and that is Age of X-Men. In my opinion, that was really, really bad. It was just like a whole MacGuffin event. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. And then Jean here. You know, I already have a Phoenix Jean, but I loved this one. I wish they would have given her belt buckles. And same with Morph. I wish you would have given them wish Legends Hasbro would have given them all these different heads that you could swap out with him. But nonetheless, you put him up against all of these. They scale well. They look beautiful. And I can't wait to review the last two, which is going to be Wild Child and then Dark Beast. And then the Sugar Man. And oh man, I can't wait to share that one with you guys. He is such an amazing figure. But nonetheless, I just wanted to show the scaling and how excited I am for this line. Overall, guys, I think Nate is an absolutely awesome figure. Now, the only downfall here that I could say, and this goes along with all the other Marvel Legend figures of this wave that we've gone over, is the lack of accessories. That really chaps my hide. But I think the reason being is I think the budget really went into the Sugar Man Build-A-Figure, which we will get into that, and it is quite awesome. And even though these figures do not come with any power effects, at least you can find other ones from, you know, different lines, and you can be creative yourself, which is what you want to do to kind of just keep that inner child, you know, enjoying is being able to play and kind of think up your own scenarios. So if you guys have enjoyed this figure, please first and foremost check with your local comic shop and see if they can order it for you. If not, then you can go the alternative routes that are aforementioned. Used a fancy word there. But yeah, this was the figure I didn't know that I wanted because, again, I remember reading X-Men. I was like, he's an okay guy. But nonetheless, got older, and I appreciate that Jeph Loeb kind of took a different spin on Cable and we got a more powerful figure out of it. Now, if you guys have enjoyed this review, we definitely appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the page, and we'd love to hear your feedback and have a dialogue with y'all down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So thank you all so much for stopping by. Make sure to check out the photo slideshow here at the end. And with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.